A very warm welcome to all my dear students to Sudharma's Physics Classroom. My name is Sudharma. Today I'm going to start a course on CBSE Grade 9 Physics. So this year we have 5 chapters in physics. So the first chapter is motion, then we have force and laws of motion, then gravitation, then work energy and sound. So in the term 1, the initial 2 chapters, motion, force, laws of motion, and half the chapter of gravitation will be coming in the first term exam. Okay, so I will be uploading the classes on a regular basis so that you will be getting the most benefit of these classes. So compared to the physics chapters you have studied up to grade 8, there is slight difference in the chapters and the approach to each chapter. You may find it is little bit different because till grade 8 we were studying on a theoretical basis and lot of definition kind of things. Now the approach is changing. That means we are going to learn physics in a real way. That means along with mathematical formulations of the concepts. Okay, so last year in force and pressure chapter, right, you had some equations. Other than that, there was not much equations. So we need to be familiar with those types of equations from this year onwards. Okay, so let's start with the first chapter, motion. So what do you mean by motion? Let's see this picture. You can see the building, right, and you can see the park and a vehicle is there. Can you tell me these objects are moving or not? Most of your answers will be no, right? Even maybe some will have a doubt this car is moving or not, right? And definitely we say that the buildings and the tree, the slide in the park and the bench in the park, they are all not moving, right? That is the answer which comes to our mind when you look at the situation for the first time. Definitely if the car is moving, okay, that's fine. Okay, so let me go back to another situation where a house is there and a tree is there and the bicycle. You can see the bicycle, there is an arrow shown there that shows that the bicycle is moving, right? So which all objects are moving in this situation? What will be your answer? Of course, the cycle, right? The cycle is moving and the house and the tree, they are stationary. Let me ask you something. Me and you, we are all sitting inside the house. Suppose you are sitting. So we say that we are not moving, right? So what makes us say that we are not moving? There will be some criteria which is satisfied to say that we are not moving, right? When we simply sit at one position, we say that we are not moving. Let me tell you another situation. Someone is going to the space and looking at us. That means we are the part of the system, that is the earth. Earth is rotating. If someone observes from outer space, they can see that the earth is moving, right? And we are the part of the earth. That means along with the earth, we are also moving. So that means that whether an object is moving or not moving, that depends on the situation, or that depends on the reference point from where we are observing. Another example is if you are sitting inside a house, inside a bus, and you observe the fellow passenger. So you may not feel that that person is moving, right? Definitely you and that passenger, you both are moving within the bus. But simply when you observe the other person, you don't feel that the person is moving. And we say that he is not moving. But a person who is standing outside the bus, he feels that we all are moving because the bus is moving and we are sitting inside the bus. Okay, again, that is another example. Motion can be defined with respect to something. Hope you are understanding. So when in this situation we say that the house is not moving, house is stationary and the tree is stationary, but the cycle is moving because we have shown an arrow that shows that it is moving from one place to another. But if you look at this situation, the same situation from another frame, another reference point, these objects may be moving. Okay, so what is motion? How do you define motion? We can say that a body is in motion if its position changes with respect to time. Okay, its position changes with respect to time. So when time increases, if the object is moving from one place to another, then we can say that the object is moving. And motion is always relative with respect to a reference point. Okay, reference point or frame of reference. So with respect to what we are going to describe the motion. So here the frame, we say that this house and this tree, both are stationary. With respect to that reference point, the cycle is moving. Okay, and in the example of people sitting inside the bus, with respect to the person outside the bus, the people are moving, but with respect to a person sitting within the bus, the other person is not moving. So that means that when we change the reference point, then the situation, the explanation of that particular situation, whether it is moving or not, it will vary. So always understand that motion means it is the change in position of a body with respect to time. If an object changes its position with respect to the reference point, then we can say that the object is moving. Okay, change in position with respect to time. That is the answer for the question, what is motion? Now we are going to understand very important concept, that's distance and displacement. Distance traveled and displacement. So what do you mean by distance traveled by an object? So here we have an object or a person moving from A to C. So for moving from A to C, he has taken two different paths. Okay, see, in the first attempt he just traveled to B, then to C. Okay, so the situation is the person has to travel from A to C. So in the first attempt he just traveled to B, then to C, and in the second attempt he has traveled from A to C through this path. So initially A to B, then B to C, right? So we can say that the distance traveled, okay, distance traveled by this person is equal to 5 kilometer plus 3 kilometers. That means it is 8 kilometers. In the second case again he traveled from A to C, but he took the shortest path, right? He took the direct straight path between A and C without going to B, right? Directly he has gone to C. That means A to C he has traveled, that is 4 kilometers. Okay, so we say that the displacement of the person, displacement is equal to 4 kilometers. So what you can understand from this example, I just explain it once again. The person traveled from A to C. So one option was he traveled to B then to C, but still he reaches C. Okay, so in that situation he traveled 5 kilometers plus 3 kilometers, that is 8 kilometers. If from A to C directly, still he has taken the direct path from A to C, that is 4 kilometers, and that happens to be the shortest distance between A and C, right? We can travel different ways, we can take different paths to reach C, but the shortest distance traveled by the person is called as displacement. Distance traveled is whichever way he has traveled, right? We have to count all those distances. That gives you the distance traveled by the object, and displacement is the shortest distance between the initial and final position of an object. This is a very important concept. So you have to understand what is the difference between distance traveled and displacement. So coming to the definition, the distance traveled by a body is the actual length of the path covered by a moving body irrespective of the direction in which the body travels. So whichever direction it travels, we have to count all those distances and add it up. Then it gives you the distance traveled. It is a scalar quantity. What do you mean by a scalar quantity? Scalar means a quantity which is having only magnitude. We don't have to specify the direction of that. Okay, for example, mass. Mass, when you say this, say I have 1 kilogram of a substance. We don't say 1 kilogram of a substance in north direction. We don't say that, right? We don't have to say that, because mass, it is expressed only with that magnitude or the value of it. Okay, we don't have to specify the direction. So when you talk about distance traveled, we don't have to say that it traveled in this particular direction. We don't have to say that, because it is a scalar quantity. And what about displacement? Displacement is the shortest distance between initial and final position of an object. Shortest distance between initial and final position of the object. Okay, and it is a vector quantity. What do you mean by a vector quantity? A quantity which has both magnitude and direction. If I have to say I applied a force, okay, a force applied in the forward direction. So I have to specify in which direction I have applied the force. Similarly, displacement, if you are specifying the displacement of the object, you have to say in which direction it has moved. And it is the shortest distance between initial and final position of an object. Displacement, distance traveled is the path covered, total path covered by the object. Hope you understood it. Now, let's try to solve a question here. Okay, so I have an object starting from here. Okay, so let me say the point is A. So it starts from A, it covers this complete circular path and reaches A. Okay, so let's try to find out what is the distance traveled and what is the displacement of the object. Okay, question is, object A, object starts from A, completely covers this circular path and reaches to A. What is the displacement? So here they have given the radius of the circle, right? So distance traveled is the path covered by the object, total path covered by the object between the initial and final position. So it is traveling throughout this circle, right? That means it is distance traveled is equal to the perimeter, right? That is 2 pi r. Okay, so 2 pi r. So that is going to be the displacement. Okay, so it starts from A and reaches to A. Now, what is the displacement of the object? If that radius is given, you can just substitute that value and calculate it. Okay, what is displacement of the object in this situation? It starts from A and it reaches A. What is the shortest distance between this initial and final position? In this particular situation, the initial and final position happens to be the same thing, right? So there is no distance, right? So the shortest distance is, or the displacement is 0. Okay, so distance traveled by this object is 2 pi r and displacement of the object is 0 in the situation. This gives us an information. Displacement can be 0. Okay, distance travel will not be 0. If motion is taking place, distance travel will not be 0. Displacement can be 0. The situation is when the initial and final position are the same for the object, then it is going to be 0. Let me give you a homework. If the object travels from A to B, opposite side, okay, this is your homework question. If the object is traveling from A to B, what is the distance traveled and displacement? If you understood the concept of distance traveled and displacement, you will be able to solve this question. So, question is, object travels from A to B. You have to find out the distance traveled and displacement and put your answers in the comment box. Okay, so do the homework question. So, in the coming class, I will be talking about uniform and non-uniform motion, and we will be learning about speed, velocity and acceleration. Okay, very, very important thing in physics. Okay, so stay tuned for the next class and please subscribe to this channel and click that bell icon so that you get the notifications when I upload the new classes. Okay, so thank you and see you in the next class. Bye.